The siege of the Proxima sector didn't start with a bang. It started with silence. When the Sylax Armada arrived, they didn't broadcast demands. They didn't ask for surrender. They simply parked their dreadnoughts in high orbit and turned on their atmospheric processors. They weren't conquering. They were harvesting. For 4 days, the Galactic Federation threw everything they had at the invaders. 3 battle groups, 200 cruisers, thousands of starfighters. It was a light show of epic proportions. Gigawatts of plasma, ion beams, and antimatter torpedoes washed over the Sylax hulls. The result? 0 casualties. The Sylax dreadnought isn't fighting, it's feeding. Its shields are designed to absorb thermal energy and convert it into fuel. The more you shoot it with lasers, the stronger it gets. It's the ultimate predator in a galaxy addicted to high-tech energy weapons. The Federation admiral, hysterical and weeping on the command channel, watches his flagship dissolve under the return fire. The Sylax are immortal. Or so they believe. But then, a tear in space-time opens. It's dirty, unstable. The radiation alarms scream on every ship in the sector. The UNSC Bad Attitude drops out of warp, sliding sideways, its maneuvering thrusters firing bursts of chemical flame to stabilize its drift. The Federation sensors try to classify it. It doesn't match any military database. It's ugly, blocky, a flying brick of titanium and lead. Exposed girders create a skeletal silhouette against the stars. There are no smooth curves, no glowing energy ports, no elegance. It looks like an oil refinery with engines strapped to the back. The Sylax commander, High Exarch Vor, watches this new arrival from his throne of biometal. His tactical officer reports, "New contact, low energy signature, primitive propulsion, threat level, negligible." Vor laughs, a deep, chittering sound. He orders his fleet to ignore the primitive scavenger. Why worry about a rock when you can stop a sun? This is the moment the war changed. Because the human ship didn't bring lasers. It brought a physics lesson. Let's look at the numbers. The Sylax Void Shield is rated for 40 zetawatts of thermal energy. It creates a dimensional shunt that moves heat into subspace. It is a masterpiece of engineering, but it has a flaw so basic, so ancient, that advanced species forgot it existed. The shield stops energy. It does not stop mass. On the bridge of the Bad Attitude, the atmosphere is heavy. It smells of ozone, stale coffee, and sweat. Captain Miller isn't giving a speech about liberty. He's looking at a clipboard. "Reactor status?" he asks, his voice gravelly. "Running hot, Captain," the engineer replies. "Cooling pumps are at 90%. If we fire the main coil more than 3 times a minute, we melt the rails." "Understood. Weapons officer, what's the load?" "Standard ferrous tungsten slug. 25 tons, solid core." "Load it." Deep in the belly of the human ship, massive hydraulic clamps release a cylinder the size of a minivan. Automatic loaders shove it into the breech of the spinal gun. The gun isn't an accessory on the Bad Attitude. The ship is built around the gun. It is essentially a 2-kilometer-long magnetic rifle with an engine. The ship vibrates. Not the smooth hum of a gravity drive, but the angry mechanical growl of capacitors dumping power into magnetic rails. The lights on the bridge dim. The artificial gravity fluctuates, making the crew stumble. This is 22nd century human engineering. It's not efficient. It's loud. It's dirty. And it's absolutely terrifying. The Federation admiral hails them, his face pale on the screen. "Human vessel! Retreat! Your weapons are level 2 kinetic. You need level 5 plasma to even scratch their paint. You are committing suicide. Miller taps the comms off. He doesn't have time to explain Isaac Newton to a panicked alien. He looks at his officer. Target the flagship. Center mass. Locked. Send it. Here is where the galaxy got it wrong. Energy shields work by dispersing heat. They take a laser beam and spread it out until it's harmless. They are frequency-based, tuned to light, tuned to plasma. But a solid slug of tungsten doesn't have a frequency. It doesn't have a wavelength. It just has momentum. The Bad Attitude fires. There is no sci-fi pew-pew sound. There is a thunderclap that travels through the ship's hull structure, vibrating the teeth of everyone on board. The view screen blurs. The ship recoils, sliding backward against its own thrusters. The slug exits the barrel at 4% of the speed of light. At that speed, the atmosphere inside the barrel turns into plasma from the friction, trailing the slug like a comet's tail. It crosses the 400 kilometers between the ships in a fraction of a second. The Sylax Shield AI analyzes the incoming threat. It checks the energy signature, 0 thermal variance. It checks the radiation, 0. The AI concludes, space debris, safe to ignore, so it lets it through. The impact is silent in the vacuum, but the visual is blinding. Kinetic energy equals 1/2 mass times velocity squared. The velocity is relativistic. The impact force is roughly equivalent to a tactical nuclear weapon detonating inside the hull, but without the radiation. Just pure, directed kinetic transfer. The nose of the Sylax dreadnought doesn't explode. It vaporizes. The slug punches through the forward armor plate like a needle through wet paper. It travels through the crew quarters, through the atmosphere scrubbers, through the munition stores, and exits out the rear engines. The pressure wave liquefies the alien crew instantly. The dreadnought, a vessel that conquered 12 systems, buckles. Its spine snaps. Explosions ripple from the inside out, not from the slug, but from the ship's own reactor losing containment. It turns a majestic warship into a drifting cloud of shrapnel. On the Federation cruisers, the sensors go blind. They can't process what just happened. 1 second, the enemy was invincible. The next, it was scrap metal. Target destroyed, the weapons officer reports. Rails are hot, reloading. But the Sylax are not stupid. They are a warrior race. High Exarch Vor, watching from a secondary vessel, overcomes his shock. He realizes the nature of the weapon. It is slow to fire. It fires in a straight line. Launch the swarm, Vor commands. Overwhelm them with numbers. They cannot shoot us all. Thousands of Sylax fighters pour out of the remaining carriers. They are small, fast, and agile. They buzz around the clumsy human ship like wasps attacking a bear. The Federation admiral screams over the comms again. They are launching fighters. Your main gun is too slow. You cannot track them. Captain Miller watches the tactical map fill with red dots. He takes a bite of an apple. Engineer, switch ammo feed. Load the canister. Aye, sir. Canister up. The main gun creates a different sound this time. A grinding metallic clunk as the loading mechanism switches drastically. Instead of a solid slug, it loads a shell packed with 4,000 tungsten ball bearings, each the size of a grapefruit. Wait for them to group up, Miller orders. Wait! The Sylax fighters cluster for an attack run, confident in their speed. They dive toward the Bad Attitude's bridge. Now! The railgun fires. The shell leaves the barrel and immediately detonates, spreading a cone of metal death 3 kilometers wide. It turns space into a shotgun blast. Physics is impartial. It doesn't care how advanced your fighter is. If you fly into a wall of tungsten balls moving at relativistic speeds, you cease to exist. Hundreds of alien fighters simply vanish, turned into mist by the kinetic impact. The canister shot clears the sky in a single heartbeat. The remaining Sylax capital ships panic. They try to raise kinetic barriers, a technology they haven't used in centuries. But their systems are old, dusty. They fail. "Reload the solids," Miller orders. "Let's finish this." The battle turns into a rhythm. The coil whine, the thunderclap, the impact. One by one, the alien ships are broken. They try to run, but the human targeting computers were designed to track asteroids in the Kuiper Belt. A panic-stricken frigate is an easy shot. In the aftermath, the Bad Attitude drifts among the wreckage. The hull is scorched. The railgun barrel is glowing cherry red, radiating heat into the void. The crew is exhausted, ears ringing, bruised from the recoil. The Federation admiral shuttles over to the human ship. He steps onto the bridge, looking at the exposed wires, the leaking steam pipes, and the crew in oil-stained jumpsuits. He looks at Captain Miller. "What?" the admiral stammers. "What kind of technology is this?" "We scanned your weapon. It creates no antimatter. It harnesses no zero-point energy. It is barbaric." Miller shrugs. "It's a magnet and a heavy rock, Admiral. We just throw it really, really fast." The Admiral stares at the tactical screen, showing the graveyard of the invincible Sylax fleet. But the calculations, the energy requirements— "We don't overthink it," Miller says. "While you guys were perfecting shields to stop lasers, we were perfecting ways to deliver a punch in the face. Sometimes the old ways are best." Humanity didn't join the Galactic Council as a junior member. We didn't join as a protege. We walked in, put a heavy chunk of iron on the table, and sat at the head. The galaxy is full of elegant weapons, elegant shields, elegant diplomacy. But when the negotiations fail and the shields go up, everyone looks at the humans. Because sometimes you don't need a frequency modulator. Sometimes you just need Sir Isaac Newton in the driver's seat. And he is the deadliest man in space.